everybody, so I'm going to do a fall layout using stuff from my stash. Now I didn't show this in my fall craft stash video because I didn't think I was going to use it, but I have these cards. Now these were from my video and they are from my stash. And what is this collection, y'all? If you know the collection by Crepe Paper, it's like a childhood theme one. Put it down in the comments below. I want to know. What was it? It had something to do with like make-believe and forest animals, I think. But anyway, so I have these cut apart, my two photos that are black and white, and I didn't see anything in particular from that video that matches with these cards, and I want to do a 12 by 12 layout, not a pocket page layout. So I went into my stash and took out this Pink Fresh from 2020. This is Days of Splendor. This was a beautiful collection, but this is all I have left. And look how well this goes. I mean, come on. So how am I going to use these cut aparts in a 12 by 12? I am thinking about using them in like grid form with like something like this. Maybe something like this. Yeah, there we go. Something like that. No. Something like that, right? And so this is where I'm going to start from. And then I've got some embellies that I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna pull out from all these embellishments what goes well with these colors. This is not Pink Fresh. This is by Heidi Swap from Tuesday Morning, but it does pick up some of the colors. Yeah. Anyways, this collection is just so cute. Love the purples, the greens, how they all did that. Like that's such a cozy color scheme, you know. Anyway, so that's what I have. I am a slow scrapbooker, like y'all have no idea. I'm very slow, and that's why my videos are heavily edited, as far as like I'm cutting out so many things, because I'm literally like doing this a lot. Or I'm literally just going like this, looking at my page until an idea or something pops in my mind, and then I could keep on flowing. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna speed this up. So I have two options of colored cardstock. I have this penny copper colored one, and I have an off-white grayish tone one. And I start with the penny copper one, but it's just too bold, and I bring in that grayish white tone one. And the make-believe cut apart is just too long, and I'm trimming it, and I'm like, how much can I trim this before it starts to look awkward? So it just doesn't work out, and I kind of leave it alone off to the side a little bit, distress the edges of my paper to kind of just think about it. And then I realize I want white borders on these pictures, so I just back it up with some plain copy paper, and it just works out just fine, makes the photos pop. And I bring in the cut aparts, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? I need some space to journal, so let's just not use the make-believe card, and I bring in a grid pale pink scrap piece of paper that goes perfect, and that is where I'll journal. Okay, I finally figured out the composition of my layout. What it was is that I kept forgetting where I had placed what, and that's where like a phone comes in, taking snapshots of it. I'll forget. I'll be like, where was this? Did that just happen because of my tea? Great. Now I'm gonna have to put embellishments on that. I couldn't make this make-believe cut apart work. It just was too long for this style. It was too close to the edge here, and I kind of wanted it to be similar. If you notice, I didn't bring a ruler out. I did use this grid, but even then I was eyeing where the middle was. Didn't bring a ruler out, even though I have one literally right next to me. But I am such an eyeball person. unless it has to do with like making albums or something. But anyway, okay, so we're gonna go with this, and then I'm gonna go through the embellishments and just embellish. We're just gonna kind of keep it simple that way. Going through my ephemera, and I will put into a pile all the pieces that don't, and get about like 6 to 10 pieces that will go with the layout, and I start to just embellish. And I'm going to do about 3 little clusters so that my eye can go from the top left to the middle and then to the bottom to that journaling, and your eye will just kind of drag along those clusters along the scrapbook page. This video is throwing me back to Adele's Grab 5 series. Do y'all remember those? Who watched those? Because I literally only used 5 products to make this layout, and it's all from my stash. And that's why it came together so quickly. I had very little to work with, and I didn't overthink anything, and just kind of, when it was done, it's done. Now I'm just journaling, finishing up. Y'all, am I done? I think I'm done. I can't believe it. This was super easy to make. I'm trying to use up more embellishments, so I have these ones from, where are these from? Paper House. Is that Michael's? That looks like a Michael's clearance sticker. That doesn't look like a Hobby Lobby one. I have this critter, and it had like 2 foam. I don't need all that foam. So, oh, now that's a mama hedgehog and a baby hedgehog, but that's okay. This whole thing makes this mama's heart happy, and I was definitely snuggling with them. That's why I'm the one taking the pictures. And I do have a picture, but we're not snuggling. We're doing silly faces. My iron was super low during this time. This was September 2022. I'm gonna put the date so that I won't forget. And so I had really dark circles, and the photo was printed, but it's not scrapped. So I know some are gonna say you should still, yeah, I have really low on iron. So all the pictures I took had super dark circles. Still have them because I would do anything to have more photos of my mom in her everyday element. So, and I know many others who would love more pictures of their parents just in their normal element. Anyway, that is the finished layout. Came together so quick, and a grid layout is so easy to do. I think if I had more embellishments, I'd probably be just adding more and more and more, but I didn't. But yeah, that was literally done. Let's see. I was watching a Chamel live. That was done in 30 minutes. I love playing the Chamel lives because it literally feels like a podcast. She talks about all sorts of things. It's almost like the scrapbookers who are present during the live. The comments are like prompts, and she responds to them, and it feels like a podcast. There's so many things that I have learned about the scrapbooking community that I didn't know, but because of her lives, I know now. So it's so fun to listen to. Like, for instance, my last video, I had mentioned something about like Joann's should have put stuff on sale more so that they could go through inventory at a much faster rate, and maybe they would get more money, and maybe, you know, Joann's would still be. But Chamel was saying that it's not so much on whether the scrapbooking community making money. You could make money very well. You could sell out of all your collections. It's more about, is scrapbooking making more money than card making, or whatever is making the most. A company will say to the scrapbooking company, even though you are making profit, you're not making as much as the journaling. So we're gonna scrap you out. So anyways, and it was so funny because she's like, those scrapbookers who are listening who took economics would agree and say more on that. And you know what's funny is that I took AP economics, but to my defense, my teacher was hardly ever there, and she would just give us the worksheets, and she's like, take the book, do them at home, and bring them back. Like, there was no teaching involved. AP economics, y'all, in public school. Anyway, but that was, you know, back then. Probably different now, hopefully. Anyway, okay, thanks for watching, y'all. If you love this layout, give me a thumbs up. And make sure you check out Chamel's live videos. They're fun.